Hey, what's up, guys? It's Austin from Flat 4 Crew. Today, I'm going to show you how to take your headlight off your Subaru WRX or STI from this, which is just ugly, and turn it into something like this. So, like I said, this is for the GR body style. I've done bug eyes as well. Those are really easy. Blob eyes, hawk eyes, it's all pretty much the same procedure. The only thing is the 2015s I don't know about, and I probably wouldn't mess with them just because they are really expensive if you do mess up. So yeah, so I'm going to show you the GR headlights, how to paint them, and yeah, so let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing you want to do obviously is remove the headlights from the car itself. You know, you got to obviously take it apart. The first things you want to do is you want to take off as much stuff as you possibly can. If you have an STI, you're gonna have like the HID ballast and everything in the auto leveler. I took the first light I did. I took everything off except for the auto leveling system because honestly, I'm not gonna mess with that, and I have no idea how to take it out. So I just left it in there. It didn't hurt it. It didn't, melt or anything crazy when you take the headlights apart, and it comes apart without taking that off. So my advice is don't touch it, but take everything else out. So I'm going to take, obviously the ballast out, the HID itself, the low beam, the high beam bulb, turn signal bulb, this whole wiring harness, everything's going to come off. So, I mean, I start off with the easiest part, just taking the headlights out, the high beam. It's just twist and pull. It's pretty simple. Just pull it right out. Just put it off to the side. When you take your HID bulb out, you want to put it in a bag or something. Definitely, whatever you do, do not touch the bulb because you will damage it. So just be very careful when you're doing the HID. I kind of saved that part for last. I just take all this other stuff off first. So yeah, there's actually a harness here. This is part of their, I forgot what that connects to, but something that's on the car. So there's a little screw here. Just take this screw off. You can see too, I have a piece of paper towel underneath the headlight. When I did the first one, I kind of wiped this down before doing this because there was a lot of dirt on it. And when I flipped the light over on the first one, some of the dirt got on the table and it actually scratched the top of the lens, which I'm not happy about. So you want to lay something down underneath the light for when you flip it onto the lens, just so it doesn't scratch it. Also too, you definitely want a bucket for all the screws so you don't lose anything, and separate them too between the headlights. This screw I can actually just put back in to the light so I don't lose it because it won't affect anything. It's not going to keep the headlight together. So I just screw it back in, just, whatever. And then, so yeah, you flip it, wipe that off a little bit. Place it on your paper towel. Yeah, so next I'm going to do the ballast. You can see it. These screws are kind of tight, so there's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. Just try to push down hard because you don't want to strip the heads out because that would really suck. So I'm actually going to turn it because I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn it this way. You just want to push in then turn so you don't damage the head itself. Get your bucket, put all your screws in. I also have the screws from the, taking it off the car itself just so I don't lose anything. It's always a good habit to just keep everything in one container so you won't lose anything. So that's unscrewed. This will pull. You got to unclip it too, obviously. I already had it unclipped, but kind of just got to wiggle it out like that. Now, don't forget, there is a rubber grommet right here. Don't know how well you can see that, but don't want to lose that, and you don't want to leave it on there for when you put it in the oven. So as you can see now, there's a clip and a screw. This clip, you can just there's a little tab right here, and you just push down on it, and it's kind of a pain, but it does come out. Just kind of wiggle it a little bit. Or if that doesn't work, you can take a screwdriver, push down on it, and try not to stab yourself. There it goes. You'll hear it click. Alright, Alright, you should probably unscrew the screw first, it might help, but you get the idea. This one's tight too, you gotta really push down on it so you don't strip it. It's a smaller screw, just make sure you don't drop it when it comes off. Like that. Okay, so that's off, that's your ballast. Now this screw I'm actually going to screw back in as well just so I don't lose it. Put this off to the side. Okay. Now, taking the HID out. Oh, you want to take the grommet off too. Don't forget that. I just put it around the top here just so I don't lose anything. Alright, so you want to unscrew. There's a cap on back of the low beam. It's just a twist off. Just, you know, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Just turn it off, pops right off. Now you have this wire coming across here that has to come off. This little, there's a tab and a screw. The tab part you can actually just slide off. It's a little bit of a pain. Alright, so there's a little tab right here. And just kind of wiggle it. And you'll see it start pulling. Just be very careful not to damage anything, because these lights are very expensive. This one's a little harder than the last one, but it's slowly coming. There we go. See? Alright, that pops off like that. Take your Phillips. And you want to take that screw off so you can take this cable off. Just be careful not to drop the screw inside the headlight. I mean, it's not the end of the world because you could probably get it out, but I'd rather not have to deal with that. So you can remove the cable and put the screw back in. Just be careful not to drop it. And then, so yeah, this part, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to get you guys to see it, but on the back side of this wire, there's like a squeeze, like it's like some kind of a clamp. I don't know the exact word for it, but you got to squeeze both sides. You'll see it in there. It's kind of a pain to get to, but just squeeze them. Like kind of like push in and squeeze, and you'll feel it pop. And then you kind of just prime like that. This is the part where you have to be very, very careful and make sure you have a bag of some sort ready. I hate this part. There it goes. Alright. Try not to hit it on anything. Okay, so that's your... Oop, and then you gotta snake this cable out too. That's your HID light, if you have an STI or an HID conversion. If you have just a WRX, it's gonna be just a regular, probably 9006 light bulb or something. Or maybe an H7, I don't know, but... So yeah, just put that in your bag of some kind. And do not touch the bulb, whatever you do. And I actually put this somewhere in a safe place just so it doesn't get knocked over or anything crazy. And if you want to, you can put the cable in there too, just so you don't lose it. That went over the front of it. And I forgot about the turn signal. Parking light, whatever you want to call it. Then you just gotta take they just kind of snake it through these little holes and channels. Just pull it out. And there you go, that's the whole harness for all the lights and everything. Put that to the side. Alright. Oh, you can put this, put the clip back in for now just so it's not dangling around. Now you want to take this whole bracket off on the bottom of the headlight. It's 3 screws. You're going to need a 10mm socket and a wrench or some variation of that. So yeah, just screw these off. And then this will come right off. That's just, that actually is part for your bumper. Your bumper snaps into that. And then your screws, the one in the middle, you can actually screw back in. I'm all about not losing things, so if I can screw something back in where it belongs, I'm going to put it there. And then the other two I'll put in my little bucket thingy. Alright, so that is how you take all the crap off before you can actually split the light. Or get ready to split the light. So yeah, you can see I still have the leveling system there. Try to wipe it off too as best as you can, just so there's no dirt laying around or anything like that. I want to try to be as clean as possible. But yeah, so this is actually ready to go. I just have to remove, there's actually five screws you have to remove before you put it in the oven. Two in the corner right here, and then there's two in this corner, and there's one more. Oh yeah, one right here on the side. So you have to remove those before you put it in the oven, or otherwise you won't be able to split it. It'll be stuck. So just take your Phillips, and these are pretty tight too because of the silicone in there, or whatever they use. So you have to really push down like that. You can feel it. You can feel all the stuff in there. It's kind of tight, even when once you get it loose coming out. It's all in the threads and stuff. So just whatever you do, try not to strip them out. I'm just gonna put them to the side for a minute. You can see all the silicone on it. If you feel that silicone pulling out with the screw, try to rip it off and let it go back into the hole, because you want to be able to save as much of that silicone as possible. Just because you don't want it to get, a small hole or anything where moisture can get in, or water, because then you're just going to have problems. But if you've never split them before, you should be okay. You can usually get away with one time of splitting them. Alright, so all 5 screws are out. I'm going to put them in my bucket so I don't lose them. And now we are ready to roll. I'm going to wipe this down a little bit better just because it's kind of dirty. And then we'll go to the oven. Alright guys, so now that everything's all disconnected and all the screws are taken out, it's time to put this in the oven. I already have it preheating because I had to actually put the other one together before I did this video. If you're old school like my family, I have a gas stove, so kind of hard to regulate temperature. I do have a thermometer in there though. It's actually still a little too warm. You want to put it at about 200 degrees. For what I've found, 200 is like ideal. Good thing too, just so you don't shock the headlights, kind of put it in while it's preheating, just so it gets the temperature, not like real fast, just like it, slower. So I'm actually gonna pop this open for a few seconds, just to let some heat out. You can actually place the light right on the racks. It's not gonna hurt it. Just make sure your oven is big enough before you do this. Just make sure it fits in there. Mine just fits, like it's very tight. So yeah, one thing too, I don't know if this is the same with electric stoves, but with this stove, when I put the light in, at first everything gets like white. The lens, like on the low beam, the whole lens on the outside, everything turns white. The first time I saw it, I freaked out. I thought it was destroyed. And then once it got like in there for a few more minutes, it just all cleared out. So I don't know, it wasn't condensation because it didn't get wet. I have no idea what it was, but it's fine. So I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna set these in here now. You want to do it for 15 minutes, and when you're preheating, the preheating doesn't count. If you do put it in while you're preheating, once it reaches 200 degrees, then you start your 15 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna slide these in here like so. I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'll get a shot after. So yeah, you can see mine just fits in there. It's tight. Just get it in a spot where it'll sit. I just want to be able to see my thermometer. So right now I'm at 200. I'm gonna leave it open for a second, and I'll see you guys in like 20 minutes, which will be the fastest 20 minutes of your life. All right, guys, I got about 2 minutes left before I have to pull them out. You see here, I have a mat placed down so I can put the headlight down once I pull it out. You're going to want to use oven mitts. It's going to be hot. There's just no way around it. So when you pull it out, I'm just going to pull it out, put it here. You have to do it pretty quick. You can't be slow about it. it's going to be hot. You're just going to have to either wear gloves or just man up and do it. You need to pull it apart pretty quick because it dries up pretty fast. You want to get it when it's nice and tacky just to be able to pull it off. It's a lot easier when it's warm. Alright guys, so it's been 15 minutes. I'm going to pull the mount now, or pull the headlight out. So I'm going to grab a couple oven mitts and take it out. Okay, you're going to want a flathead too when you do this to be able to pry the headlight from the lens. I'm going to move it over here. Hopefully you'll be able to see. So yeah, you want to start from the corner that is on the grill and work your way over. So I'm actually just going to take my hands because it's hot. Oh, you're going to want a flathead. Stick it in and just work your way up. You got to release these rivets. There's a bunch of rivets too you have to get past. There's like there's 3 on top and I think like 3 or 4 on the bottom that you have to pull apart. And yeah, you definitely want to be quick because it gets hard again pretty fast. It's a little bit of a pain at first, but once you get it started, it starts to pull. It's going to be very stringy too, the silicone. So, ow, that was hot. Just try to keep it all in there the best that you can. So yeah, there's 3 rivets on the bottom that you gotta pull apart from too. Ow. There we go. You can see all the silicone pulling. You can just break it with your finger. And just try to leave it in there the best that you can. You just gotta work it. It takes a little bit of time, but it starts to pull. Yeah, see, it gets tacky. Once it gets cool, it gets tacky pretty quick. So you want to try to do it as fast as possible without making a mess, which really doesn't go together, but. See, I'm just taking my finger and trying to not get it all over the place. Just whatever silicone you got left, just try to pack it back in there the best that you can. I got a bunch on the side here, but that's alright. So now that's your lens is separated from the actual headlight. Now what we have to do is there's 4 screws in here we have to remove to take the actual inner piece out that you're going to paint. So we're going to go back over to the table and going to take that out. You can see it really wasn't that hard. It's just getting it started. Once you get it started, though, it comes right off. It's not that hard at all. So there's yeah, like I said, 4 screws. These screws too could be tight, so just press down hard on them when you go to take them off. It's kind of awkward too, but just try your best. All right. So now I'm gonna pull this off, which can be a pain. Sometimes the silicone gets stuck on it. It's a very tight fit too. But you just kind of maneuver it like that. I'd say start in the corner that's towards the signal. You gotta do it when it's hot too, because silicone does get stuck like on the corner there. Can't wait, because if the silicone dries, it'll be stuck. So this is the actual part that we're gonna paint. This too, you don't want to touch this lens on the inside. Just don't do it. You can't really clean them because it'll mess it up. So I take a take paper towel and just kind of just lay it in there, just to try to prevent dust or anything from getting inside there. Because once you get dust in there, it's near impossible to get out. You can't really clean it with anything. So I'm just gonna kind of go like that, just to hopefully prevent any or most of the dust from going in there. Just so you can just keep to the side. You're not gonna need it for a while. So put that to the side. All right, I'm also gonna be painting the side reflector here and the turn signal housing. So I'm going to show you how to remove that too. It's just 2 screws. There's one up here and one on the bottom. And then the side reflector here will slide out, and this whole piece will actually slide out. One tip too, if you're going to paint your like your high beam reflector, some people paint them like yellow and like a reflective yellow and stuff. I wouldn't remove it from the actual housing or the actual headlight assembly, just for the fact because you'd have to readjust the light if you did actually take it off. So if you wanted to, you could just kind of mask everything off around it and then just paint it. I'm not going to paint it. I'm going to leave it chrome, so I'm not worried about it. But just if you have an idea of doing that, you can just kind of mask it off all around with some newspaper and tape, and then just paint it like that, so you don't have to readjust it. But yeah, so this will once you take those 2 screws out, this reflector slides right off, and then this housing comes right off. So yeah, I'm gonna paint this it's almost like a dull chrome kind of color, and then I'm just gonna paint this black. All right, guys. So see, I got a little setup here. Obviously, I'm doing this in my house, which obviously isn't ideal, but the weather has not been cooperating here in Connecticut, so I'm forced to do this inside. So yeah, I have just a small table that I have, taped off. I actually got a mask from work today. I didn't have one last night, and even though I have 2 windows open and a fan on, it was just death in here. So yeah, I prepared for this one. did not want to smell that again. So if you don't know how to paint even the littlest bit, I would not recommend you doing something like this. Mainly for the fact is you really only get one shot. I kind of got lucky last night because I messed up the red around the low beam. Luckily, I was able to take it off and redo it, but it didn't come out that great. So you really only get one shot at this. So I'm going to show you what you need to do this. One thing I will tell you, do not sand these at all. I saw a video for something like this, and the guy recommended sanding it. I did that around the eye right here when I went to do the red, and it just left huge like black spots on the plastic or whatever it is, and I couldn't get it out. I don't know, it just took the coating off or something, but I couldn't get it out, and not happy about it. So the only thing you're going to need, you don't need to sand it or anything like that, but you're going to want to use this. It's adhesion promoter. It's basically just like glue. It's just a clear spray. You just spray it on and let it sit. I do 2 coats, about 5 minutes apart from each other, and then you want to put the first coat on within 10 minutes. I usually wait about 5 minutes and then spray it on. You're also going to want some denatured alcohol. I got this at a hardware store. I haven't really seen it anywhere else besides a hardware store, so I'm sure you can get it online too, but you definitely want some of this. You just use this basically just to wipe it down before you paint. It gets all the dust and everything off, and it evaporates instantly, so you definitely want to invest in that as well. So I'm probably gonna do the reflectors and stuff first, just because that's a lot easier than what I'm doing with the actual headlight part. So yeah, I'm gonna set that up and then I'll paint it. Did 2 coats of the promoter, so now I'm gonna do the actual color. I'm gonna paint the reflector. It's called it's Duplicolor Metal Cast. See the bottle right here. It's called Smoke. Basically, it just dulls the chrome. Really, it's actually a really nice look once it's done. All right, guys. So I just got done painting the side reflector for the turn signal. So this is what it actually looks like when it's done. It's a really cool color, actually. It just, like I said, it just kind of dulls the chrome. It's like a silverish type color, but I really like it. I think it looks really cool. So yeah, this one's done. I'm gonna paint the orange side marker that goes here. Now I'm just gonna paint that black. So the black I chose for this project is Rust-Oleum Paint for Plastic satin. It's a satin black. Apparently I think it's good up to like 500 degrees or something. It's really strong stuff. Alright guys, so here's the orange reflector from the side, now black. See, it's kind of it's not gloss and it's not dull. It's kind of right in the middle. It's a nice color. Alright guys, so onto the headlight assembly now, or inner assembly, whatever you want to call it. Got it all taped off the best that I could to do the red around the ring there. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'm gonna tape it off here and then do the black around the whole piece, so it's close, it's good enough. So I'm gonna clean it off and then do the adhesion promoter, and then I'm gonna do this right here. This is called red middle cast, red anodized. If you saw the headlight, the one I already did. It's a pretty cool color. It doesn't it doesn't cover the chrome completely. It just turns it red basically, but it looks really cool actually. So yeah, so I'm gonna get going on this, and then when I'm done, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, guys. So here's what the red metal cast looks like. Like I said, it doesn't really cover the chrome. It just makes it turn red. I like it a lot actually. This is just 2 coats. The first coat I did light, and then I went a little heavy on the second coat. It's been about 10 minutes now since the last coat. So I'm probably going to wait a couple more minutes and take all the newspaper and tape off, and then take all the pieces and put them in the oven for. I'm gonna keep the 2 reflectors in there for about an hour, but this I'll probably keep in there for about a half hour and take it out, and then I'll mask off the ring here, and then paint the whole housing black. So I got the ring, whatever you want to call it, all taped off, as close as I could get it. It's a real pain to tape that off, especially down in the bottom here. You just can't get your fingers or quite anything in there. I kind of just use a razor blade to guide me, but it's quite the pain to do. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So I have the headlight piece in the oven. I'm actually yeah, it's really late. My mind is not working. Curing the paint. There we go. It's a good idea to do so you don't have to wait as long. You can put it in there. It's a little. I'm trying to get the heat right. It's about 200 right now. You probably want it around like 150, 140 maybe. Doesn't need to be super hot. You're just trying to cure the paint. I put it in there for about an hour, and then it's usually pretty good. All right, guys. So back at it again. In the morning now. Literally just woke up like 10 minutes ago, but just trying to get these things done. So yeah, here's the finished product. But I did actually miss a few spots with the black, especially in here and in this upper part. It's just really hard with all the angles and all that stuff. So I actually took a black Sharpie and just kind of colored it in, and it blended in pretty good. I got what I could, and you can't even really tell. So yeah, so I put a rack underneath the lens just because I didn't want it to sit on the metal grate, just to be safe. It's kind of tight, but you can get it to fit. So I gotta let this get the temperature and then let it cook, for lack of a better term, for 15 minutes and put it back together. Alright guys, so been 15 minutes, so I'm gonna pull them out and put the headlight back together. It's gonna be hot, like I said before, so just kind of gotta deal with it. You're gonna want an oven mitt if you have a metal tray in there, like I did, because you will burn yourself. Yep, it's hot. Wow. Alright, so this is your last chance to get any dust out. If you see anything, this looks okay. So you want to start from the, make sure I have it facing it, yeah, like this. You want to start from the turn signal side and work your way down. Oh, it's really hot. Make sure you get all the rivets back in. Make sure they all click. Sounded pretty good. Squeeze all the sides down. You want to get your screws in too as fast as you can. I don't put them tight right away, I get it close. And just go around and tighten all the screws, kind of make an even pattern. And that's it. It's all back together. If you get any silicone on the lens itself, just try to get it off while it's warm, because once it's dry, it won't come off very easily. And now you just gotta let it cool down. So that's pretty much it for that part. So yeah, you can see finished product. I would let everything cool down before you put it back together. Yeah, just let it cool down and then, you know, put the ballast on and everything else. I'm not going to show that part because it's just the same as disassembling it, just in the reverse order. So that's going to be it for today, guys. So that's how you paint your headlights. So if you can use an oven and basic hand tools and know how to paint, you can pretty much do this yourself and save yourself a lot of money. So yeah, I'll just give you a final shot. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.